Hello, everyone. Before starting this story, I would like to advise that the story contains a heavy amount of grief feelings. Because of this, I wanted to extend a gentle and caring reminder that mental health is just as important as your physical health. Every day, people around us, our friends, our family, our co-workers, and even ourselves may be quietly struggling with stress, anxiety, depression, or trauma. These challenges are real and they deserve our attention, our compassion, and our care. There is absolutely no shame in seeking help. In fact, asking for support is one of the bravest things you can do. Whether you're feeling overwhelmed, isolated, or just not like yourself, please know you are not alone. You can talk to a friend, a trusted family member, a doctor, or even a counselor. Support is available, and there are people who care and want to help you. Taking care of your mental health is a sign of strength. You matter, your story matters, and your well-being matters. Let's break the stigma together and support one another because a healthy community starts with healthy minds. Thank you. This story is called Tammon. Chapter 1, The Dream. Help me! I screamed, running through the empty streets of Trinity Vale, desperately trying to escape the man chasing me in my dreams. You can't run from me forever, he shouted, his voice thunderous and filled with rage. I will get you, and they will die. His words echoed through the silent streets as he hurled more threats behind me. I sprinted as fast as I could, but without warning, my knees buckled. I crashed hard onto the pavement, landing on my hands and my right knee. Panicked, I twisted around. He was only meters away from me now, and closing in fast. I tried to move, to run, to crawl, but my legs wouldn't respond. Stunned, I realized I couldn't feel them at all. No, Tammon, get up! I whispered harshly to myself. I covered my face with trembling hands, too terrified to see what would happen next. This isn't real, please, this isn't real. When I finally pulled my hands away, he was standing over me. I win, he said, with a twisted, triumphant smile. Did you really think you could escape me forever, Tammon? He looked completely out of place in this nightmare landscape. Dressed in a tailored black suit, crisp white shirt, and black tie, but there was nothing human about him. What's going on? Who are you? I managed to ask, my voice shaky as I forced myself upright. I'm your personal abyss, Tammon, he said calmly, removing his reflective black sunglasses. I am all your pain. I am your worst nightmares. His skin was unnaturally white, his head completely bald. And those eyes, they burned like pits of fire from the depths of hell. You're strong, Tammon, he said, his voice lowering. But I am stronger. You are no longer protected. After all these years of solitude, I've finally found you. The stench of his breath hit me like a wall. I gagged and turned my face away, eyes watering. I've never smelt death before, I thought to myself, my hand covering my nose, but I think this is what it would smell like. You know what I want, he hissed. I want you. Then, in a chilling whisper, as if telling me a secret, he added, I want your soul. Without warning, he slammed his right hand into my chest. I was thrown backwards to the ground, my body paralyzed against the concrete, helpless. I watched as he reached towards me again, and this time with his left hand, and somehow, as if I were made of air, his long white fingers slipped straight into my chest. It's finally mine, he growled, gripping something deep inside me. I opened my mouth to scream, but no sound came out. Suddenly, my whole body began to tremble. The world around me shattered, shifting violently. Colours and lights flew past me as I plummeted, falling faster and faster. I could hear the man's furious screams fading behind me, and then, bam! I jolted awake, my heart racing, my breath ragged. It was as if I'd just slammed back into my body, the loud pop in my ears, the spinning, the foggy disorientation. It's all so familiar. It's always like this. I was astral travelling again. It's been happening to me for as long as I can remember. Chapter 2. I hate these stupid dreams, I thought to myself, waiting for the dizzying wave of disorientation to pass. Once I felt steady enough to stand without collapsing, I dragged myself out of bed. Tam, are you up yet? I have to take everyone to school early today, Mum called out. Yes, Mum, I'm up. I'll take the bus, I replied. It was Thursday. Mum's always rushing on Thursdays. Everyone had to be somewhere, and time was tight. My heart was still racing, pounding at what felt like 100 kilometres a minute. Before Mum left, I bolted out of my room and into the kitchen. Can you still pick me up from school today? I asked. Yes, hun, she said, kissing my cheek and grabbing her keys. But I really have to go now. We'll see you this afternoon. Bye, guys, I called out as the rest of the family headed out the door. Bye, Tammy, my little brother and sister chimed, racing each other to the car. Bye, Tam, my twin brother Callan said as he walked past. I hate catching the bus, he added with a fake scowl that quickly melted into a smile. Dad gave me a kiss on the head. Be safe, princess. Oh, I remembered, dashing towards the front door. Good luck today, Callan. I know you'll do great. Thanks, sis, he yelled back, just before slamming the car door shut. As Mum backed down the driveway, he pulled a silly face at me from the window. But as I stood there, watching them go, the car seemed to blur, to vanish, right before my eyes. I must still be feeling disorientated, I thought. I stood in the doorway longer than necessary, quietly contemplating the strange visions I'd been having lately. Something about today felt off. I know my dreams always mean something, every single one, but lately they've been so cryptic, so tangled. Oh well, I said aloud. Only time will tell. As I walked back to my bedroom, I wondered what to wear. I thought about the usual black pants, a white Peter Pan collared button-up, and my fitted black blazer. But today didn't feel like a power woman kind of day. Instead, I chose a knee-length black skirt and a lavender blouse. Soft, but subtle. Standing in front of the mirror, I didn't really focus on my reflection. I looked at the energy around me. Normally, my aura glows in shades of blue, purple, indigo, and yellow. But today, it was different. Black and grey, muted. My usual vibration, that gentle hum at the back of my neck and head, was barely there, just a flicker. I felt empty, like I didn't quite belong in this body, this meat suit. I sighed aloud, collecting the rest of my clothes and shoes before heading down the hallway to the bathroom. There was a sadness in me I couldn't quite name, like something important was missing. Wrapping my fluffy light blue towel around my chest after the shower, I stared blankly into the steam-fogged mirror. I hate having dreams, because when I dream, unlike most people, they tend to come true, which only made me more worried about him, the man from the dream, the one who told me they would die, the one who said I couldn't have them. But who is they? How are they going to die? And why can't I have them? I couldn't shake the heavy feeling that I'd lost something important, or I was about to. I tried to breathe slow and deep to stop my mind from spiraling. As I finished getting ready for school, brushing my hair, I noticed it. My vibration. It was returning, subtle but growing stronger. Relief washed over me. Smiling faintly, I walked into the kitchen, made my lunch, grabbed my bag, and stepped outside, locking the door behind me. Chapter 3. After School. See you tomorrow, Ty, I said cheerfully to the boy I'd secretly liked ever since I moved to Highlands about 8 years ago. Bye, Tam, he replied, then paused, like he wanted to say something more. I looked at him, silently hoping he would. Do you want a lift to school tomorrow, Tam? He asked with that shy but beautiful smile I adored. I can meet you at the bus stop if you want, he added, his voice a little nervous, like he was afraid I'd say no. Sure, Ty, I answered, heart racing. I'd like that. You can meet me at my house if you want. His eyes, those soft, khaki green eyes, held me in a trance. Cool, Ty said, flashing a smile. I'll see you around 9 then. Sure, I replied, looking down shyly, feeling the blood rush to my cheeks. God, I hope you couldn't see how much he affected me. Beep! Whoa! I jumped at the loud car horn behind me. Phew! I quickly turned. It's just Mum. Saved by the bell, I thought, spotting her silver minivan. I rushed to the door and opened it quickly. Hi, Mum. Hi, Dad, I said, jumping in and closing the door behind me. I gave Ty one last glance before doing up my seatbelt. How did Callan the Great go today? I asked with a grin, putting dramatic emphasis on the word great. I already knew the answer. It was the same every year since we were 6. Every team my twin played for ended up crushing the entire season, and this year wouldn't be any different. Not if they won the grand final today in Bayswater. They were playing the Sydney Swans A-grade side. Callan had been telling me for weeks that there'd be 3 talent scouts watching the match. I wish I didn't have school today, I thought. I would have loved to be there cheering him on. I'm not sure, hun, Mum, Lucia said, trying not to laugh as Dad, Joshua, tickled her playfully. We'll find out when we pick up Sarah and Koopy. Dad chimed in, finishing her sentence. Callan's going to meet us at Highlands Public School, I thought, my heart lifting. I started playing out the conversation in my head, thinking about what I'd say to him, how proud I was, how excited I'd be. The car ride slipped away from me, as it always did when I was lost in thought. Before I knew it, we were pulling into Maple Drive. We're here already? I said aloud, blinking in surprise. Bang! Whoa! I nearly screamed. A loud smack echoed right next to my head. On the car window, I whipped around. It was Callan. He looked pale, horribly pale. There was blood pouring from a gash on his forehead. He was yelling at me to get Sarah and Koopy. Tears streamed from his eyes. My heart sank. I couldn't breathe. No, no, this can't be happening. Panic froze my body. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. All I could do was stare at my twin brother's injured face and remember the dream I had that morning. About 10 seconds passed before I realized I was hallucinating again. Callan was now in the car, sitting next to me, laughing his head off. Callan, I whispered, the dread still heavy in my chest. What was that all about? I asked. What was what about, Tam? He said, through fits of laughter. I can't shake this feeling. Something's wrong. Something's really wrong. What if the twins are in danger? I thought to myself. I looked at Callan again, confused. I swear I saw him mouth the words, get out of the car. What? I asked, still dazed, panic still rippling through me like electricity. I didn't wait for the answer. I might go and wait for the twins at their bags, I said, trying to sound calm, but my voice was thin. My heart was racing like I was in full fight or flight, and I had already chosen flight. I opened the car door and moved to leave. As I stepped out, Callan reached out and grabbed my hand. I froze. Please, don't let me have another vision, please. I forced myself to turn around and face him. He was holding a letter and a trophy. His eyes sparkled with pride. He didn't need to say anything. I just knew. They won. And that letter? It was from a scout. I hugged him, kissed him on the cheek. I knew it, Cal, I said, joy finally overtaking my fear. I know you did, Tam, he replied warmly. Now go grab the kids and I'll tell you all about it when you get back. Okay, Cal, I said, smiling as I gave him what I didn't know then would be the last hug I'd ever give him. But just before I stepped out, another vision hit me. Cullen's pale face, the blood, the panic. I shuddered and squeezed my eyes shut. See you when I get back, I managed to whisper, eyes still closed, voice barely steady. I love you guys, I added softly, unsure why I said it, just knowing I needed to. Then I closed the van door behind me. From the corner of my eye, I saw Mum and Dad turn to look at Callan, clearly surprised by my sudden outburst of affection. I didn't wait. I ran across the road, up the footpath towards the school gates. I ran fast as I could, trying to outrun the dread that had wrapped itself around my soul. Chapter 4. The Fire. As I walked through the school gates and turned the corner, I saw Sarah standing with a small group of her friends and their parents. She looked happy and relaxed, chatting away. Just as I started heading towards her, I heard a familiar voice behind me. Sarah! I spun around. Koopy! It was him, my little brother. As soon as he realized it was me calling out, the biggest, brightest smile spread across his 6-year-old face. Tammy! Tammy! He shouted, running straight towards me with his tiny arms wide open. He barreled into me and wrapped me in the tightest hug, planting a huge kiss on my cheek. Guess what I did today, Tam? He said, practically bouncing with excitement. I painted a picture for Mum and Dad. They can hang it on the wall. My teacher even brought a frame for me to put the picture in and everything. He fished into his school bag and carefully pulled out his masterpiece. I gasped. Wow. Koopy, this is beautiful. It really was a full family portrait. Us, all smiling together. His little hands had captured the tiniest details with such care. His artistic gift was undeniable. This is better than a photo, I told him, completely blown away. Yup, he grinned proudly. Everyone's happy in it too, Tam. But his expression suddenly darkened. You know what, Tammon? There was a man in my room last night. I froze. What man, Koopy? I asked gently. The man I told you about, the one that comes sometimes. He says things. Bad things. He leaned in and whispered in my ear. He told me, I'll never be happy again. My skin went cold. Before I could respond, crash! Bang! A thunderous explosion shook the entire school grounds. Everyone around us froze. Parents instinctively pulled their children closer. Koopy screamed in terror and leapt into my arms. His little hands gripped my neck so tightly I could barely breathe. Ah! Tam! What was that? He cried, holding on to me like his life depended on it. I don't know, Koopy, I said, my heart pounding. Then a second explosion, even louder, even closer. Black smoke rose into the sky, just behind the trees. I held my brother tightly, shielding him with my body, but something was wrong. Something was missing. Then it hit me, hard. I couldn't feel Callan. I always felt him, his energy, his presence, but now, nothing. The silence inside me was louder than the explosions. Without thinking, I placed Koopy down and ran. I didn't speak. I didn't look back. I didn't even consider where Sarah or Koopy were. I ran. My body moved on instinct, fueled by panic, by dread, and a bone-deep emptiness. I nearly collided with a group of stunned parents as I pushed my way through to the school gates. And then I saw it. I collapsed to my knees. Mum's silver minivan crumpled on its roof next to what used to be a petrol truck. The truck had exploded. Flames engulfed everything. I could barely breathe. I could barely see. But through the flames, through the cracked, scorched window, I saw him. Callan, so pale, blood running down his forehead. Callan! I screamed, my voice breaking as I reached for something I could never grab. And just then, through the chaos, through the smoke, through the heartbreak, I saw him, the man from my dreams, standing at the edge of the road, watching me. He didn't say anything. He didn't need to. He just looked at me and mouthed the words, "You're mine." Chapter 5. The Twins. Koopy ran to his twin sister as fast as his little legs could take him. "I'm scared," Koopy whimpered to Sarah, his voice trembling. "It's okay, Koopy," she whispered, trying her best to stay calm as she gently reached for his hand and pulled him into a hug. I wasn't there with them. Not yet. But I know my baby brother was falling apart inside. Koopy has Asperger's. He's high functioning, but moments like this, loud sounds, sudden chaos, they shake him to his core. "I want Tammin," he cried, sinking to the ground. He sat on the grass and pulled his knees up to his chest and started rocking back and forth. Sarah stayed beside him, even when she heard me. When I screamed out Cullen's name, she didn't move. She didn't run. She couldn't. The world around her suddenly felt too massive, too loud, too terrifying, like it might just open up and swallow her whole. And still, she stayed, right there with her twin. Chapter 6. The Fall. I couldn't move. I just stared, frozen, at the apparition now standing behind Mum's burning car. He was smiling, and then he laughed loudly, cruelly. I couldn't hear anything else, not the fire, not the screams, not the third explosion that tore through the air. I didn't notice the flaming car wheel launched high above me, spinning straight towards my head. I was trapped, not by fire, not by fear, but trapped in my own mind. Visions swirled around me. The smoke and flames blurred into something cold, something wintry. Everything shifted. The air around me turned icy. Frost crept into the corners of my thoughts. I didn't feel the impact. Not the wheel slamming into my chest, not the crack of my head against the concrete as I was thrown backwards. I didn't even realize I was unconscious. All I knew was that I was sinking. It felt like quicksand, like the ground itself was pulling me down, down beneath the chaos, beneath the screaming, beneath the pain. The world was vanishing around me, and I was disappearing with it. Chapter 7. The Light. "Whoa, holy shit, Mum, did you see that?" Roy gasped, eyes wide with shock. The teenage emo stood frozen, staring, mesmerized, at the explosion in front of him. Fire raging just meters away. "I need you to call an ambulance," his mum ordered, already moving towards the burning wreck. "I'm going to see if there are any survivors." Roy didn't move. His voice was distant. "There won't be any. Not from the first car." He stood there, numb. The screams of terrified parents and wailing children echoed all around him, but it was like they weren't even real. "Call the ambulance, Roy!" his mother shouted, trying to snap him out of it. "Now!" She rushed to the overturned car, the one beneath the petrol tanker, and tried to open the twisted door. Inside, she saw a man, still breathing. I I can't open it, she yelled, straining with all her strength. He's alive! I can see his chest moving. Roy, have you caught them yet? Roy snapped out of his trance, fumbling with his phone. Stupid emergency services, he muttered, voice shaking as he fought through the call prompts. Emergency services? Can I get the suburb of the emergency, please? The operator asked. I need an ambulance to the entrance of Maple Drive Primary School, Roy barked. There's been a massive accident. Can I get the suburb, please? Highlands, he snapped. What exactly has happened, sir? I'm not totally sure. It looked like maybe a car hit a petrol tanker. The tanker was going way too fast. It crashed into a parked car with people inside. Then everything exploded. Now 4 cars are on fire. As he spoke, Roy noticed something horrifying. The fire was spreading. The flames had reached the car his mum was still beside. He dropped the phone. Mum, move! Get away from the car! Mum! Fire! She turned, saw the flames, and instantly let go of the handle. She bolted, running as fast as she could as the blaze overtook the wreck. No! Mum! No! Roy's scream tore through the chaos. He ran forward, panic rising, accidentally stomping on his phone and shattering the screen. Mum! Then another explosion. A fireball ripped through the air. A tire launched high and fast. It was heading right for his mother and a girl. A loud ringing filled his ears, drowning out everything. The world slowed. Roy felt himself thrown back by the shock wave, his body hitting the ground hard. Mum, he tried to say, but the words were lost in the ringing and the horror and the shock. He lay there, stunned, staring up at the perfect blue sky. The sounds around him became distant, like whispers in another room. He could hear sirens. Then nothing. He started to float. He felt weightless. The sky above him slowly faded, blue, turning red, then to grey. Tammon! Tammon, please, wake up! Tammy! I could hear someone, a voice, far away, like it was underwater. Please, Tammon! They begged again. The voice faded, becoming more like swooshing, like waves, pulling away after kissing the shore. Then I saw it, a brilliant, beautiful light, and suddenly I was standing. No pain, no fear, just floating upwards towards the light. I felt peace. I felt happiness, warmth, freedom. I was weightless, rising into something I couldn't explain. Tammin, not now, a voice said, angelic, soft. It came from the light. Then I felt it, something tugging on me. I looked down, a glowing blue thread, an energy cord connected me to something below. I didn't want to leave this feeling. I didn't want to go back, but the cord wouldn't let me rise any further. Don't worry, Tam, someone whispered gently. The ambulance is on its way. Suddenly, I was back. My eyes opened. The sky above me was black. It was black, but it was too bright. People were all around me, but I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. The pain hit me. Sharp, hot, unbearable, worse than anything I'd ever felt. And then the fear followed. I'm slipping again. The pain will swallow me whole. I'll fall into the nightmare and never come back. I tried to fight it. I really did. But the fog rolled in, heavy, thick, cold, and I fell again. Back into the darkness. Back into my personal abyss.